This is gonna take crackerjack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. This is the first comic book review of the week, and there's going to be quite a few. I'm going to be reviewing Deathstroke Inc. #1 right now from DC Comics. I'm also going to be, well, I don't know if it'll be a full review, but I'm certainly going to be covering Amazing Spider-Man 74, Nick Spencer's very final issue. I will go over all the big details and all the interesting things happen there. Also, my good friends Doc and Skip will be joining me to review Inferno #1 from Jonathan Hickman. This is his last, story before he leaves the X-Men office. But I'm also going to be reviewing 4 Batman comics tomorrow with Josh, I think he'll be back. And then Doc and I will be reviewing 2 more X-Men comics this weekend on This Week in X-Men. So I am going to be reviewing too many comic books this week. It's not my favorite thing to do, if I'm being honest, but big week and lots of things popping off. I'm very excited to review this Deathstroke Inc. #1 from Joshua Williamson, the hardest working man at DC Comics now. He's the new Batman writer. He's the guy behind Robin. He's got Infinite Frontier. He's also working into Justice League Incarnate, where he's basically tipping off the next big crisis event at DC Comics. And he's got this cool series that I think a lot of people were really excited about. Howard Porter, his old partner in crime on Flash, is here for the art. And, hey, I loved seeing the team get back together on a cool character like Deathstroke, basically teaming up with Black Canary to work for a new group called Trust. I think it's called Trust. It has a really stupid acronym. And as someone who worked for the government, who's been in a meeting to make an acronym in a government agency, a lot of them are stupid, and they absolutely will make the acronym and make the words fit it. So hey, that thing kind of made sense, although I guess this is a British organization. And I'm going to be up front. This is not a great comic book. It's a fun comic book. It's certainly a recommend, but I do not feel it lives up to the billing of what I think a lot of people were hoping for with #1. And I do not think people will come away from this issue with a great enough appreciation of what exactly is being set up here, but also in Batman Urban Legends #6, where Joshua Williamson and Trevor Hairsine, I believe, kind of did a prologue to this and gave some backstory information specifically about Dinah and why she's here, but also another character, I think her name is Ballantine, who's the leader of Trust, who's far more compelling. You get a tiny bit of that. Obviously, I'll get that into the review, but it feels like there's something really cool brewing here, and it's going to be dope. But this first story is really silly, specifically the adventure, the mission that they go on initially with Deathstroke and Black Canary. And I think I just have a feeling that it's underselling just how cool and what exactly is going to happen here. I think this thing is going to be dope. I'm absolutely along for the ride. I give this it's a 3.5-star comic. It's definitely a recommend, but I think this is one that's going to get better with time. Kind of like the very first issue of Zdarsky and Chichetto's Daredevil was good, but it wasn't great. But by issue 2 or 3, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is as exciting as I thought it would be. I think that's exactly what we're going to get here in Deathstroke Inc. So it's a recommend. I'm definitely down for the ride, and I'm not putting a lead pipe lock on it, but I have a personal feeling that this is only going to get better as the series moves along. So let's get into the review itself. The first thing we'll talk about is the art from Howard Porter. It's a bit uneven, but it's perfectly fine. If you like Howard Porter's art from Flash, I think this is a slight downgrade, but it's still good. There is one image, this first one I'm showing here, where Deathstroke makes his first appearance in the comic book, and it says Deathstroke in the back, and he's got this big machine gun as he's riding in on top of a Batmobile. It's really, really dope. The rest of the comic book does not look this good. This is the page that Howard Porter obviously felt was the money shot and clearly put more time into, because it looks like $1 million. If the whole thing looked like this, it'd be some really good art. This other image that I'm showing here with Black Canary, where she makes her introduction, is much more emblematic of what you're getting for the rest of the comic book. Perfectly fine, good, better. It's good, better than perfectly fine. It's good art, but it's not breathtaking. It's nothing that's gonna blow your hair back, but it's very good. It's Howard Porter, so when he draws back the images for scale, the faces start to look goofy when he illustrates them. That's one of the things I've always noticed about Howard Porter. So you're going to see that with here. But if you like Howard Porter's art, you're going to like this. It's dynamic. Certainly not as dynamic as what was in Flash when you have such a kinetic character that's always in motion. But he's a fine comic book artist, in my opinion. Not the best thing that you're going to find at DC and Marvel these days, but better than most. And certainly a nice addition to here. And I think it'll only get better as he and Williamson work their way through Deathstroke Inc. Now let's get into the story. The first thing we talk about is the background, or not the background, the backbone of this comic book. And it is clearly the relationship between Slade Wilson and Dinah. Slade is on a mission of redemption. We've certainly seen this with the character before. It falls in line with some of the things that we've seen with Slade Wilson in the past. He wants redemption. He started out as a good guy. It's not like they went out and found the worst soldier possible to inject with the serum, and and they got what they wanted. He was supposed to be a hero all along. Obviously, he's fallen off. He has a couple of vices, one of them being a tremendous amount of greed, the other being always wanting to prove that he is the greatest, no matter whether he's facing a hero or a villain. He absolutely wants to test himself, so sometimes he goes afoul of the law and the good guys. But he's clearly, and this is tapered in throughout the story as you're going along. He's remembering his past. He's remembering, how he got into this, specifically here. But he's remembering moments with his family when he let him down, moments when he was a soldier, and the conflicts that he's had in his past. So that's clearly haunting him. And he and Dinah, after they've, cleared out this town, we'll get to that here in a second. They have a conversation. He takes off his helmet, and she's like, "What are you doing here? What's your game?" And he says, speaking about his time as kind of a hero and a villain, he says, "Riding the middle lane just isn't working anymore. It's time I picked a lane, hero or villain, once and for all. Trust offered me a challenge, something new. Play hero for a bit, see if it sticks this time. I owe my family that much." So there you go. There's his motivation. He wants to see if he can actually play the hero in the long game rather than kind of churning for greed and for other reasons. And he wants to kind of redeem himself for his family. That's a very good motivation for a character. He turns the tables and he says, "Why are you here?" And she, unlike Slade Wilson, Dinah is not not very honest. In fact, she does not spill the beans at all. But we do know from Batman Urban Legends number 6 that she is working with Barbara Gordon because they know this trust organization went out and bought all of this Batman tech when Joker War ended and he had stolen all the equipment. It went on the black market, and Trust apparently, above board and legally bought all this equipment. So it was very easy to figure out who they were. It was almost as if they were attracting people in there, and Dinah is infiltrating the organization to find out what their angle is. And she does not obviously tell that to Slade Wilson. But this is kind of the backbone or the foundation of this team book. Can Deathstroke and Black Canary work together? Can they trust each other? Obviously, he is the sledgehammer, and she's the scalpel. She's in there for precision infiltration and things like that, and he's there to blow stuff up. And they have a couple of characters in the background. One of them's name is Ballantine. She's the leader. We'll talk about her at the end. There's another one. His name is, I think it's Toyman number 2. I can't remember his name. He's kind of, at this point, generic tech-savvy Asian character that likes video games. He's there for grins. He's kind of the comic relief at this point. I imagine his role within the organization will grow. He'll probably accidentally have to go out on a mission and see what Slade goes through and have a greater appreciation of the team. Eventually, kind of the common story beats you see for a character that's the voice in the ear kind of guy. But those are the 4 members at this point. But these 2 right here, this is the foundation of the book. can they get along? And Slade Wilson so far has come clean. He's trying to redeem himself. Can he be a hero? And can he redeem himself for his family? Dinah has infiltrated the organization because they want to see what they're all about. Now, the first mission, as I mentioned, is silly. They found this town. It appears to be in Europe, but I might be wrong on that one. I'm pretty sure it's in Europe. And they go there, and Dinah's, she's incognito. She's, under a disguise, and they figure out that this is not a real town. It is like a hive town, and they think it's a hive town that they're keeping their sleeper agents at, so they can play like normal people before they deploy them. It turns out that is not correct. They send in the Batmobile. Here you can see Toyman number 2 into the town, and Slade Wilson, he just starts killing people. Not very heroic, if you ask me. He just starts shooting them down. And it turns out they're all infected with these, I don't know, bee nanites that are turning their internal organs into weapons. They didn't explain how that happened. I thought that was kind of stupid. Specifically when we finally meet the Queen, who they're actually here to get, in her family, and they're certainly not nanotechnology. They're absolutely organics as far as being the hive. They've turned the hive on their head. They're bees. Like this. This Queen is like a living bee woman, and she shoots honey, and she's been feeding, I guess, hive agents this honey, which is what turned them, I guess, into hosts or incubators for these technology-based bee. I said it was silly. It's kind of stupid. And when we finally meet her husband and her 3 boys, they're bees. And they end up blowing the whole place up, and obviously they grab the Queen and bring her back to Ballantine, and it's a success. I do not think that this mission, because it is far too silly, far too stupid. It's not too silly or too stupid for comics. But I don't think it really works for an opening issue. Yes, you do get to meet the team, but it doesn't seem like it's serious. And I think this comic book is going to be very serious in what they're trying to portray. Like you look at the husband there, he's got like a tap in his chest, I guess, where they're harvesting honey at him. It's really strange. And his head is a beehive. I think this story deserves something better. And I imagine we're going to be getting that in the days ahead. So the adventure itself was silly, probably too silly. But we've got the foundation of the comic book laid. We got an adventure in here. I imagine we're going to get a weekly adventure until something bigger happens. The most intriguing part really is the end here when we see Ballantine, and she has the Queen, the Hive Queen, and this is the leader of Trust. And we know that she hired Talia al Ghul to try to murder her or assassinate her. She hired the League of Assassins. Or not the League of Assassins, it's is it Leviathan anymore? What is Leviathan? I don't even know. She hired Talia al Ghul to try to assassinate her. And when she did that, that's how Dinah, I guess, she didn't break her cover. She already knew who she was, but she went out there, saved her life, and that's how she ended up getting to infiltrate Trust. Obviously, that was done on purpose to bring the character in. She's doing something behind the scenes, and it sounds very, very villainous and very intriguing. And these are her words. We'll read what she says here. Our investment in Batman's tech and heroes was worth it. Obviously talking about Black Canary. She will regret turning down our offer. And they're talking about the Hive Queen here. And they're going to turn her over to now Director Chase at the DO. I guess Director Bones is out. She says, imagine if we redeemed Deathstroke, earn Black Canary's faith. They can both help Trust recruit other heroes to save the world, in quotes, maybe even the Justice League. If villains try to resist our plans, we send heroes to take them out. Now, who do we target next? So obviously, she's using them for nefarious means. Deathstroke thinks he's about to become a hero. Obviously, he's being duped. Black Canary thinks she's in there. She's trying to discover what's happening. I think she knows that something's wrong there. But she's going to be used. They're going to take out villains and hopefully to recruit other heroes in once Ballantine earns their trust. So we shall see how it goes. I think this is a very interesting subplot that's also set up in Batman Urban Legends number 6. And that is my review for Deathstroke Inc. number 1. I recommend it. It's perfectly fine. It's fun. It lays the foundation. certainly identifies this relationship between Deathstroke and Black Canary is going to be very key, and that Ballantine is no one to be trusted. They got a lot of work to do on, I think his name is Hero. That's actually Toy Man number 2. Like I said, he's generic, tech-savvy Asian guy that likes to play video games right now. I imagine they're going to do something more with him. He's just comic relief, but this could be really cool. We've got Talia al Ghul kind of in the fold. We've got, Ballantine wanting to earn the trust of these two heroes. I'll put that in quotes because it's Deathstroke really a hero. He's trying to be a hero so they can recruit more heroes in, and then they can take out her enemies or competition as far as the villains and whatever it is that they're actually trying to do. And we do know that Hero, or at least it appears, has taken this bat technology which they bought after the Joker War, and he's evolving it, or he's upgrading it, however you want to look at it. So I think that is another cool thing that we're going to get to see in here. What has Hero done to this stuff? How have they taken these bat gadgets and turned them for evil? I think it's kind of, all right. I think if Batman has all this technology, he's got a self-destruct button on all of it, right? He doesn't want this stuff falling in the wrong hands, so I don't know. That's one of the stupid things about Joker. Why didn't he just blow all this stuff up anyway? Is Bruce Wayne not that smart? Obviously, we do see the bat cowl on the cover of this. We do not see Batman in here. I think that is just metaphorically speaking that they are using some of Batman's equipment. So it's a good cop. Is it a great comic? Absolutely not. It's certainly a recommend. I think people will enjoy it. But I think this is one of those things that's going to get better with time as Williamson really lays out the groundwork and the plan of what he's trying to execute with Trust and Talia al Ghul and some of these other things, and the relationship between Slade Wilson and Dinah. Definitely be looking out. We're going to be reviewing Inferno. We're going to be reviewing Amazing Spider-Man 74. We're going to be reviewing a ton of Batman books with Josh, hopefully. And it's an interesting week. It's a big week for new comics, and it started out pretty damn good. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.